Hey friends, welcome to Moxie Gardens, or Bumgars. I'm Mike Toomey, and today I'm picking up some pumpkins. They're on a reduced price, pretty cheap. We've got a few days before Halloween, but in-laws and a bunch of family are coming to our house to hand out candy to the little trick-or-treaters. So I'm gonna come in here, grab a couple bags of mulch, some pumpkins. I wanna dress up the tree just at the front of our landscape pin oak. So we're gonna dress that up a little bit. You know, we just overseeded the grass, and so a lot of those little grasslings are coming through that area. So we're just gonna kind of button it up. So let's go get that. And then while I'm doing that, while I'm in here making these purchases, I ran through a clip that had some stuff that I needed to erase, and I'll be darned, I have some aerial views. So take a look while I go pick out some pumpkins. Okay friends, I was able to pick up 10. I think they were 50 or 60% off. So I picked up 10. We're back home. We're going to, let me just turn this around. Okay friends, so the 2 bags of mulch and the pumpkins are gonna go in this space. But because we have had the grass kind of coming up, you stay off of it for a couple weeks, but we're at the point now that I can mow, so I am going to mow. But then we're gonna get in here and kind of rough this up. A lot of people see those weeds and think automatically I need a weed barrier, and then we've got to add whatever, but not necessarily, not at all. I don't use weed barrier for anything. What I'm gonna do right here is just kind of rough up the weeds a little bit, make sure that the little tree starters get kind of kicked out of there. That's basically it. But then I'm just gonna bury it in a couple inches of mulch that'll suppress all the life out of those weeds right there. We'll sprinkle in a couple pumpkins and we'll call that a shot. Then we'll share with you guys a little bit of our Halloween decoration. We don't get carried away. As soon as we have grandbabies, we'll get back to that stage, but all of our kids are out of the house. But you can see here, I've got the pumpkins. I'm just gonna start mowing and then we'll get started. Shorter on hours. Now I want some light. All right, see what a couple bags of mulch and a few pumpkins will do to just a little space. That cleaned up pretty nice. Nothing super major. I guess in a few years, if we ever have grandbabies, we can poke some stuff in there and make it fun for them. But for right now, this will be enough for the little trick-or-treaters. They'll see some orange and a porch light, and that'll get them going. You can see we sprinkled in about 10 or 12 pumpkins in between the marigolds. I keep waiting for the teenagers to come through and make a mess of them, but nothing yet, so that's nice. We do you know, simple, nothing too crazy. Put more pumpkins here. We picked up our little scarecrows. I think this is probably something a lot of people do, but we picked up some scarecrows and popped them in our little planters here. Those are from Hobby Lobby. Then all these funky little gourds and pumpkins on the bottom. Look at how gnarly those are. You can see, those of you who have been watching this trail right through here, my truck was set here, so that we've had rain the last 3 days, and I've been working in the back on that greenhouse, and so I'm coming up here because the electrical was underneath the garage, so I've been coming back and forth to my truck. So those are all my footprints. My son just got home and goes, "What is this?" But we'll get that washed off. But the gourds and stuff were kind of a unique little deal. So rather than go to a box store, we wanted to help out some of the smaller businesses, so we went to a little mom and pop pop-up in a parking lot on 119th Street in Olathe, and you can fill up a wagon for 65 bucks and you can get as many gourds and pumpkins in there as possible, and that's what we did. We just went through and let the kids pick out, or my daughter and my wife picked out a bunch of what you see. Again, more supplies I've left out. We're gonna start working on that greenhouse as soon as we leave. But that's pretty much it. Went and got a spider web and a spider. You can see it right there from Walmart, I believe. So yeah, I think it's all coming together. It's a cute little quick project, so I think it turned out cute. We're gonna head back there to the Bayou. Let me plug in the lights. If you guys were with us during the time that we built the Bayou, that's a fun little deal. Okay friends, I've got the lights in the Bayou plugged in, but I'm gonna give it just a little bit longer to let it get a little darker. We're gonna head to the back. Cannot wait to mow. We're gonna mow it up, and then if you stay tuned, we're gonna feed the chickens with it. So we don't have any kind of pesticides or anything on this grass, no chemicals. So it'll be a fun little treat for them. And I believe this might be the very first time they've got grass clippings. So it'll be fun for them, a nice little treat. And then can you imagine all of the pumpkin that are out front that are just going to, they're just gonna pique their curiosity and they're gonna stay on it. So let me flip this around. So it's definitely a lot taller than I ever let it get, but because of the season and the circumstances, yeah, so it's tall. In fact, the sprinkler head's right there, and the grass is so tall that when the sprinkler comes on, it leans it over. I set the camera up over here by our cute little greenhouse so that we can have a straight shot. I'm gonna do a diagonal cut, and if you like satisfying videos, I bet this will be pretty satisfying to see that long cut, but it's gonna be fun. So anyway, we'll get this cut, then we'll head to the Bayou, we'll feed the chickens, and we'll call it a video. But those chickens are probably gonna be like, what the heck, what is this stuff? So can't wait to go back there and see them. Okay, if you like mow lines, then I've got them. My camera did die. I didn't notice it until I got over here to check it, but hopefully there's enough footage on there that you guys will be able to see. Finally got it mowed down. You can even see my footsteps in there. That stuff is wet. And I've got a project right here come this fall, later fall, or perhaps even early spring. We're gonna do something because that still gets boggy. The landscape flows down, and so anytime we water, rain, any kind of precipitation does the garden good, but then any excess ends up over here. So anyway, let's go feed our chickens, introduce them to grass clippings, and then we are going to go check out the Bayou. Real quick, look at the colors. Isn't that good? A Japanese maple right here, and then right behind it is a tiger's eye sumac, maple tree, sycamores. We've got some more Japanese maples, so a lot of color. In fact, pan around here and get under there. Look at the blues, the greens, and then the other Japanese, or the other maple that's over there. Let me see if I can get this. Looks good. Layering is important to get this kind of a look, I guess, to your garden. So let's go give the chickens some clippings, and then I'm going to turn on my light and I'm going to start working on this project here. Okay, so we're back here. Do you recall us putting this together? Still working progress. We still need to put a sign here. Willow's Way, Willow's Trail, something. But back here in the bayou, gate opens up. Look at the tips on these. I freaking love it. And I found this. Remember, do you recall? We found this little, some people said it's a screen door from the 70s or 60s, something like that. But I found it on Facebook Marketplace for like, I don't know, $20-$30, I suppose. Maybe I'm wrong. You can see the hydrangeas are starting to do their thing. They're giving us some fall interest. And then our hostas on each side. And if you're new to the channel and you're just seeing the bayou for the very first time, it's still a work in progress. But this is on the west side of our property. You see the maple back there turning colors. But we have one bedroom window. We've talked about it at length. There's so many people that gave advice on maybe painting that a color for the bayou and putting shutters on that, since it'd tie all in. We do have the honeysuckle that we planted there. Next spring I'll do a better job of leaning it over that top post, and it should just really thrive because we've got just a little pocket of sun that really cooks this area. The lights and stuff give it that ambiance and little cute feel to this. A lot of our hostas have laid over, don't know why. Best guess is all the critters that come back here and cats and stuff. And it's that time of the season. If you recall, we had to put in a couple more water stations, pump stations, because we added some more drip irrigation to the backyard. Helps hide the dish up there, so that's nice. We've got another Japanese maple. I've got Japanese maple all over in the garden, but it's gonna do a nice little job of just kind of canopying this area. We still talked about, that's another project we talked about, somehow hiding the neighbors on the next aisle, then the property next to us. I could think of a million little things that we could do back here. Opinions were mega during this little renovation here. This property spot from the fence line to the home, maybe 25 feet, and then from the gate to the back, where you can't even see where the back is, and that's, well, let me answer that question first, is probably about 40 feet. And then our little wooden trail here, and then I got it to where it kind of fades back there, and then you just kind of don't know where. Do I follow the trail? You get to use your own imagination. But do I follow the trail? What's this little home back here? I've got a little swing for grandbabies, or even us. I remember when I put that in, it holds me up as well. Right under here, we had to do some work after planting up a bunch of stuff, but I could come in here and plant a bunch of fall bulbs. Still might. Got a nice little hydrangea here, or a rhododendron right there, but I can imagine a lot of things that we could do in this spot. I think I have one hosta. I think I divided those hostas, so there should be one there and a couple back there. I'm not sure. Like I said, we had to dig this up to bury a line for our cable, but you can see the little stepping stones. We carried the theme right? From the backyard to the front. We've got these stones everywhere, and a billion questions on these stones. Where'd we get them? One thing I do know is when we went to this rock place, these just happened to be thrown on the side by an old landscaper. Some people suggested that they were bags of rock, concrete. Look at the patina on there though. Little holes and stuff that have dug in there, grooved in there from the water and the years of winter and cracking and expansion, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I don't have an answer, but you can see how the moss and stuff is starting to kind of take over that spot, those little rocks, and give it the character that I'm looking for. Of course, when we first did anything back here, we allowed the water to run off right there, and that little piece of driftwood, my son and I got, I think he was like 15, maybe 16, and he's 27, 28 now, so 27 years old. So do the math, it's been here for a long time. But we went and dug that out of a lake area. And then of course, the little Hobbit edition, the little, or whatever your imagination tells you. Isn't this fun? Left a lantern, he's got a little chair right there he can sit in, his little deck. Probably used the timber from his landscape. He's got a little heater back there. He just used the door handle from the property. An old piece of galvanized steel for the roof. Yeah, isn't that fun? Little deck area. And I can imagine over the years that's just gonna continue to grow moss and different things, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun. And then, like I always say, nieces, nephews, and when I get grandbabies, they can come back here and I can weed and they can swing, and I can't wait to hear their stories. And if you can imagine where their imagination will go, it should be a good conversation with myself and them, so that'll be fun. We've got some things we're going to do back here. You can see a little birdhouse that we built, and it's kind of been forgotten. We took that back there. A couple of you suggested alligator, a piece of concrete alligator, or some type of faux alligator back here. That'd be kind of neat. Be something fun for the grandbabies and nieces and nephews to talk about. And then a lot of suggestions said do a canoe. So that's up in the air. We could do a little canoe leading into it, to this space back here, and fill it up with bulbs and different seasonal plants. That would be fun. But you can see I've got my logs over there. We're going to extend that. We've got a lot of projects. There's no end to. I either need bigger property, or this thing's just going to be busting at the seams with character and charm and whimsy and whatever else. So I think it's a lot of fun. We're just about to that stage where I probably am going to get some bad lighting in here, but I thought it would be fun to get back here nonetheless. I can see little squirrels running back there, and they're kind of popping their head over there. I can hear a voice, but I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I can see them. They're diverting to a different area to cross to go home, I suppose. But isn't this fun? I could sit back here and dream up these little things. I know as far as functionality, what purpose does this really serve? If you were to sit back and start thinking in your head as you watch this, what, it's cute, it's whimsy, it's fun, but what purpose does it really have to this area? Listen, before when we purchased this property, this was just grass all the way through. No fence, no trees, right? We've talked about that at length. No shrubs, nada, just grass. Air conditioner units back there, and that was it. And so really I would just come back here and mow. And so I was spending the money to water, and then I'd spend the energy to mow, and then I'd spend the money to go fill up my mower to mow back here. And so little by little, when I started to kind of get the feel for coming back here and kind of putting my imagination to work and learning about plants and trees and stuff, it really grabbed a hold. And so this is where we're at today. So if you were to ask yourself, what purpose does this serve, and what functionality, what could you do to your space, and would you even think of something like this. I say go for it because, if anything, the nieces, the nephews, the grandbabies, the imagination, and not only that, you get your hands dirty, you get to get out. And so all this is repurposed. I didn't spend a whole lot of money back here. I've spent money on the lumber right here, the treated lumber, but really, guys, this is just imagination and whimsy and fun. And anytime you can get connected back to Mother Earth and put your phone down and turn off the TV, and maybe you listen to music and you just want to get out there and, like I said, I'll say it again, get your hands dirty. And then one thing leads to another, and before too long, you're at an antique store and you're picking up a bike or a tricycle or an old chair, and then you start looking at things differently. And then before you know it, you're coming home and then you're overstuffing an area. And again, what function does this serve for me? Nothing to outside of my imagination. So that's kind of where it's at. Once I have grandbabies, this is just gonna really be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great space. It'll be picturesque. And if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, that's Moxie_Gardens, I've got a fogger. So I'm gonna come back here and do a little video with that and with the music, but I think that would be so fun. And then you can see here, we've got little lanterns that just dot. See, and that's what I'm talking about, using your imagination. And you go to an antique store, you find that back road that you just got to get away from the busy life. And then before you know it, you're finding rust laying on the side of the road or an old log. And maybe some of you have some of this stuff on your property and it was just waiting to go to a landfill or brushed to the side to you get a garage sale or something. Look at everything you have, repurpose it, and get your hands dirty, get in there, and you can have a ton of fun. I wasn't even going this far. We were just gonna come back here and check on the Bayou. I wanted to give you guys an update from what we have done this spring, I think it was late spring. And I can kind of get lost in the imagination of what we've got. You can see here, we've got a bunch of loose bricks that kind of lead the way. We're gonna add a bunch of ground cover in there, and just, it'll be fun. I can almost add a pocket. See, the imagination starts to take hold. A pocket full of early spring bulbs, maybe petunias. Maybe it's, I don't know, tulips or anything. It could be anything. And then the bees get to enjoy it, and early spring critters get to enjoy it. But man, we could be, I've got to shut the video off, or we'll just continue to take a lap around this garden and get lost in the things that we can do and repurpose, and the things that make gardening fun. But yeah, well, it looks like Jessie's home and she's got groceries to take in. So I hope you guys enjoy what we brought to you today. Another little fun video. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye now.